Thank you for coming to our session. Thanks for staying. And I'm Cherry. I work for Esri. You'll hear about Esri a lot in this session. And this session is probably a little bit different from all the other sessions you had at ChefConf. Most of you use Chef for automation and DevOps in your own organization. It's a very specific workflow, very specific environment. Us, we use Chef to help our customers, different environment, different configurations to deploy our software. We'll talk about how we do that effectively and continuously to help our customer to deliver our software, which is the most powerful GIS software in the world. If you don't know, GIS stands for Geographic Information System. In this presentation, we'll talk about Esri, of course, who are we and what do we do, and why do we pick Chef, and what do we do with Chef, and how does Chef help us to deliver our software to our customers. We work for Esri, the science of where. That's our company's logo. And our company is based on the headquarters in Southern California, about 3,000 employees. But we are really big global-wise. We have more than 100 offices for over 60 countries. Actually, we have about, I think 11 employees came to this event, came to ChefConf. All of us is coming from different offices, actually. And we build the most powerful mapping and spatial analytics products in this world. Here are just some numbers we put out there to help you to see how big we are, how good we do. And every year, every day, when you look at a map, when you see some analytic results, that's probably Esri behind it. Just one thing, give you a general idea. We have more than 20,000 users coming to our events every year. One of the biggest one is the user conference we have every year in July in San Diego. We have usually close to 15,000 users global-wise coming to the event. Our business in the markets really pretty much every aspect of the society. Government, military, natural resources, utilities, these are all our big customers. And if you don't know us directly, actually you're probably using some applications that has us behind it. For example, if you buy something from the internet and that thing got delivered to your door, that delivery company probably using Esri software to do the routing. And then you look at a hurricane, you look at a map to see what the real-time status of this disaster event. That's probably Esri's map and Esri's analytics, and the data as you collected behind it as well. And basically our goal is to empower the positive change, right, to across industry, government, and society. We want to make the world a better place. How do we do this? Our technology behind it is a platform called Arcgis. If you heard of Esri, you probably heard of Arcgis. That's our signature. That's our software. And the key capabilities behind that is the spatial analytics, which we are the best at, and we are the best at mapping and do the real good visualization. The 3D GIS, the real-time GIS, real-time data, real-time analysis. The imagery and the remote sensing, we are really cutting edge in that field as well. We are very strong in that field. And the data collections, right? On different mobile devices, on the vehicles, on your field workers, we collect those data and do real strong management and analysis of that as well. We are a big data science company. So just to summarize that, what sets us apart, there are a lot of software company out there, a lot of mapping company out there, but none of them do it all. We do it all and we do good in the world. A lot of big events that you probably know, some hurricane or Ebola or some environmental disaster in the ocean, Esri is there. What we do is we collect data, we quickly transfer them into a system, and do the strong analysis to put geographic context to it, to give you a spatial insight to help you make the smart decisions, make the data-driven decisions. That's us. We turn data into insight. That's us. We're Esri. And then what do we do with Chef, right? As I mentioned earlier, we have a real strong system called Arcgis. Under this system, we have a lot of components: portal, server, data store, different software, and different desktop products as well. All of these components software, not just the setup. Setup just the beginning is the configuration, the order to configure them talking to each other. We realize, it's a powerful system. Powerful system come with powerful responsibilities. It's not easy to deploy them. We want to help our customers to deploy them quickly. And here are some sample patterns, deployment patterns. All our customers did deploy it differently. Which software to use, how to configure them, what's variables, which machines, how many machines. Every one of them deploy it differently. And our customers a big variety as well. Most of them are strong GIS people. They want to do the GIS work, the analytics, probably different from you guys. Most of them are not really interested in DevOps, not really interested in the system administration or install deployment. They want to focus on their GIS work. But some big organizations, right, software is deployed by the DevOps people. Those people are really strong DevOps, but they might not know much about GIS. So all these different roles, and some of our GIS people have multiple hats probably. They want to focus on their GIS work. Meanwhile, they probably also have to maintain the machine to do the upgrade. So we have a big variety of the customers as well. And the environments. Some logos here, just a subset of all the environments we support. Our customers are there, so we are there. We support all of them. The different virtual technologies, different cloud, Azure, Amazon, Alibaba, Windows, Linux. We support them all. So that's really coming down to, we want to support all of these customers, make them focus on the analytic work. We want to support different environments. Then the automation and the scripting is the only way to go. That's why we picked Chef. Esri has been released Arcgis Cookbook for a few years. We picked Chef is because, we don't want to require our customer to learn a new programming skill. And we want them to install the ready-to-use tools, but still give them the power to do what they want to do, how they want to deploy. Give them the power to deploy the way they want to define the way they want to do. So that's how we do it. We released the Arcgis Cookbook, which we wrote on Chef Supermarket and GitHub, the Esri organization. All of these are cookbooks is for different products, different deployment patterns. Meanwhile, we also give our user the power to deploy the way they want by exposing these attributes, these variables. This is just a small set of the variables we have. All these variables have a default value, but the customer can define the way they want to. And with all these variables, that could be overwhelming. So we have some sample configuration files for user to pick the pattern they want to do, and then they can go from there. I mentioned earlier, right, a lot of our customers, they are GIS, strong GIS people. They want to focus on the analytics. They are very GUI people. The GitHub might be even intimidating for them. So this is our landing page, our documentation, to direct our customers to use Chef to do their deployment. This landing page or the documentation have the videos, have the different workflows, different deployment patterns. The customer come here, pick the deployment they want to, and we lead them to the deployment steps, the documentation. And as we promised them, it's easy to start. All the deployment do the same steps, to lead them to install the lightweight Chef client and then download the cookbooks we develop. And then the most important for them is to modify the property file, what software they want on this machine, how many machines, username, password, and authorization files or different variables. And then just run this command. And it probably won't be successful the first time, but that's okay. You can keep running it. When it's successful, that's your best document to document exactly what you did. Upgrade, right? With such a powerful system, it's not easy to upgrade. There are a lot of software to it. Upgrade has been a very strong request from our user community. And with Chef, we made that easy as well. One is upgrade time. You download a new cookbook, with a new release. And then you just take your original JSON file and give the new version you want to upgrade to, and the new setups. And the new authorization file you pay Esri for. And then run the same command. We promise this is going to be easy, and that's how we do it. Next, Mark's going to show you how our customers take our cookbooks to deploy the way that they want.
All right. Thank you, Cherry. My name is Mark Carlson. I'm with Patterns and Practices here at Esri, and we use the cookbooks in order to deploy our software every day. And I'm going to give you an example. I have one set up on a VM on my machine here. But let's first look at what we're going to deploy. What we're going to deploy is what we call our ArcGIS Enterprise package. Now, what this entails is our ArcGIS server. It's going to install Portal for ArcGIS, our ArcGIS data store, and our web adapters. All of this makes up our enterprise solution. We can extend this solution to include additional server roles. These expand the analytics of what server can do for you. Anywhere from geoanalytics, business analytics. This really gives us the power to really run those processes. We tell our users, if you're installing our software and configuring our software manually, you're doing it wrong. Because automation is such an easy way to get our software up and running for you. As long as you get that configuration file, you're good to go. And they just need to download the cookbooks, and we're good. So this is just kind of a brief look at what we're going to be looking at. So on the VM, I've actually modified the JSON file here with the run list, and it's going to install IIS, the web adapters, and all the supporting software. Let's take a look. If it comes up, here we go. So here's the JSON file with all the attributes that I have updated. Since this was on my VM, I just copied all my executables to my local machine. And that's all I had to do. This was a template that I downloaded, and I just modified it to fit my needs. And this is how our users can also use this as well. Because all of the recipes are in here in the run list for that successful deployment. I did run this just the other day because it does take a little bit. It took 2 hours for this to run successfully, because it has to install all of those components and then configure them as well for us. So I know all you guys know the Chef cookbooks, and you guys are pretty familiar with it, but how does our software look then afterwards? So let's take a look at what we have here. So this is ArcGIS Enterprise. This is our portal landing page that we can configure and utilize. And part of what the Chef scripts do for us is they do all the configuration for us. So we need to configure our web adapters, register the data store, and then federate our servers so that the system works properly. And just kind of give you an idea of what this looks like. So my VM here has ArcGIS server installed on it, and it's already been federated for me. I didn't have to do anything with it. And then also it sets it as our hosting service, and this allows us to host feature services and whatnot in our portal site. And what we can do from there then is start producing maps and doing some analytics. That way our users aren't having to constantly look at, hey, did I configure that properly? Why isn't this working? It's already up and running and is executable. So what I did here, if we just we do a search on the Hyatt Regency, and we can zoom in on here. We can add, point features to this. So there we have, the Chef Conference, and with the links and everything. So we can add all sorts of content to this. But then also, kind of what we want to do is, maybe perform some analysis. So I downloaded from the Chicago website all the fire stations that are around here. And I was able to drag and drop that CSV file that I downloaded from the Chicago site into my portal. And I was able to locate all the fire departments around. So say like if we had a fire, which one's the closest one? Well, we can run analysis in this as well. So it will find the nearest fire station, but then it'll also give us a route to that fire station, and then give us the time that it takes in order to get to that fire station, or the fire station to get back to us. So what I'm kind of showing you here is that as a user, this is what I want our software to do. This is what I'm focused on. This is what I want my outcome to be, not the configuration, which Chef does such a tremendous job on. It allows me to get up and running just within a few hours. If I had to do this manually, it would have took longer. And then if I ran into some issues or if it didn't configure it properly, it may have took even longer. But now, say like if I have a new release that came out, it's like, man, I want that new upgrade. All I have to do is go in and copy the new Chef files, get my new executables, and basically, change this to 10.6, execute, and on my way to the most updated version of our GIS. So with that, the key points about the Arcgis Chef, is that it helps our customers deploy. We have an assortment of patterns of deployment that our users can choose from. All of this is from the Esri GitHub site. There's not really any programming skills that you need to have. They can just, plug and go. It's fairly easy to start. Flexible and highly configurable, depending on how much they want to get into it. And it's also repeatable. If I want to deploy this in multiple environments, I can do that. I also have all my documentation ready, and it's there for everybody to see. And with that, that's any questions?
The package JSON file is in a central repo, or you have it in the server, the package JSON file?
So the package JSON file?
It's part of the download. Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of the download.
It's part of the download.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's almost going back to his question, but like how do you track like how many JSON files and how many requests came in and everything? Like how do you, in a holistic view, like how do you track all the requests? Who all requested this? Who all executed this JSON file? Who all, like, you need some tracking, right? It's not like you give this cookbook and documentation and anyone can run. There are some guardrails, controls you're gonna place, right? It's not just.
So the question is asking how do we check the usage of this cookbook? Is that right?
Yeah.
How many people? Actually, right now it is in the GitHub and the Chef Supermarket. Everybody can download. We don't really have any limit who can get this cookbook. But when you deploy our software, right, you need to use our license file. That you have to get from us. And then that's the only thing that I think that's really that we kind of you have to contact us for. Otherwise, it's out there. We don't really have any limit who can use it. And then we hear from our customers mostly is either they have a bug, they have a request, or they put some functions, put some coding, and we take it as a part of our cookbook. That's when we hear them the most, actually. Yeah.
So when you download the stuff, is it all self-contained? And by that I mean, if I take that download, put it in a system that doesn't have internet connectivity, it'll all install and work properly?
For the disconnected environment, actually that's one of the big environment we do support because we work a lot of government and military. In that environment, it's also work, but something we in our doc with the user need to keep in mind. For example, this will require you to install the Chef client. Then you can get to the internet to have the Chef client somewhere in your network that's accessible. And then they will also use the authorization file to authorize that if you use our product, that also need to in the environment that need to be get to and need to be authorized. So it will still work just as you manually work the environment, just something that requires access to, instead of accessing internet, just make it locally available to this environment. Exactly, just stage them instead of going into the environment, yeah. Okay, thank you very much. And then, thanks for coming.